Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, we have your Heatwave and Money in the Bank recaps. Mariah May turns on Toni Storm. Mommy is back, and we're going to get MJF versus Will Ospreay next week. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast.
If this was a boring week of wrestling, this might be a boring podcast, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Vladimir Tootin.
Oh, my God.
So my kid is like almost 3, and she's just really gotten into farts, and like we are really letting the fart jokes fly over here in St. Charles. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
What these beefers want from a nigga really want. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 367, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. Like I said, this wasn't but a boring week of wrestling. I'm ready to talk some shit. Let's kick it over to that west side.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have Two Beers. Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beers, Zach?
BFR West in the house.
I got nothing clever. The heat broke in Portland, though, so I'm not dying, but I still only spend money on two real things, and that is air conditioning and toilet paper. So, again, apologies for the ambient noise, but I'm not turning off this fucking window unit for nothing.
Well played.
Toilet paper. No Vice tonight. Don't know where he is tonight. Hope he's doing well. We expect him to be back here next week. Just an absolutely, even if there wasn't just the two pay-per-views this weekend, we would have a lot to talk about. Even if there was only the two pay-per-views, we would have a lot to talk about. We have the two pay-per-views and a big week of wrestling to talk about. So let's stop fucking around and get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick it off.
I'm looking at this WWE side. It's just loaded with just matches and angles and all kinds of shit. So let's just dive into it. Obviously, we can talk about SmackDown just really quick, just high points of SmackDown. The main event, Zach and I talked about it last week, DIY versus A-Town Down Under for the WWE Tag Team Championships. There was the title change. DIY wins the titles in a pretty short but a really entertaining main event, I guess is the choice of words I was going with. I like the vignettes coming up to SmackDown or through SmackDown, kind of highlighting the tag team titles. I don't know if this is an effort to make sure that we're getting them back on track, so to speak, but at least DIY feels like they're going to be a team that, knock on wood, holds the tag team titles for a little bit. Zach, did you see the match?
Yeah, it was the best thing in WWE, best match probably of the weekend, and that's not me being a DIY fan. This is a really good fucking match. That was better than anything on Money in the Bank, I think.
Ooh, interesting. You should say that. So let's just dive into it. Money in the Bank, also emanating from Toronto. That's on my wish list of places to go in the world. At some point down the line, we'll open it up with the men's Money in the Bank match. I'll just say this. To me, it was really down to two people, and at the end, it ended up with those two people fighting for the briefcase. Myself, Tinder, Bill, we're all here. We were watching it. A little bit delayed.
Along with my wife, Erin, and your lovely girlfriend, who I don't know if we're saying her name, but
we can say Mary's name.
We got to meet Mary. Mary came over. We had a great little wrestling party.
The girls got to jibber jabber while we got to lose our goddamn minds. One of the spots where I was losing my goddamn mind was where Drew McIntyre threw the ladder at Jey Uso like a spear. I'm like, I've seen a lot of ways to, execute a ladder in some form or fashion, but I don't think I've in that matter where it just literally looked like Drew had no problem picking that Joker up and it was like, wee! And the next thing you know, Jey Uso's at the top and not anymore. He takes the bite. This was a typical but entertaining ladder match. There was a lot of at least little storylines that you can play off with. Chad Gable could have dream matches with Jey Uso if they did it a little bit, but we'll talk about that later on down the line. Drew McIntyre, I never thought I would see that. You got to see that. Andrade was here or there, but still in a good way. He was in a nice little mix of this. So to me, it was a nice little gumbo of guys that were in this ladder match and made this an opening to where, okay, even though Drew won, not necessarily a big surprise because obviously we'll talk about that more in a little bit. I don't necessarily think this was a wasted cash in or wasted opportunity for Drew. A lot of these other guys are getting ready to go on to something else, whatever that something else is. LA Knight's going with Logan Paul. I guess ultimately this just added more fuel to the CM Punk Drew feud, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. So I wasn't here last week, right?
No.
I did listen to it though, and I think it was Zach that said last week that. Well, I listened to the predictions. I didn't have time to listen to the whole thing, so I'm sure you guys were very kind the entire time to me. But I think it was Zach that said WWE is in such a good place, so Drew can kind of squander his Money in the Bank chance because WWE has so much going on. Money in the Bank it's really a crutch for bad booking, and if you have good booking, then you don't necessarily need Money in the Bank. Because we survived a long time watching wrestling and there was no Money in the Bank briefcase. When did it come around? 2006 or something like that? So
feels right.
So, but I mean that's the main point. As far as the match goes, super fun, had a blast, was not let down at all. I always come into these with high expectations because they are big spot fest with big stars. They are fun matches. The spot of the night, well, I don't know if it's the spot of the night. The spot of the match
I will not say that was the spot of the night.
Was the power bomb from the top of the ladder onto the ladder that from Andrade to Carmelo Hayes.
Woof. Carmelo Hayes, Lyra Valkyria, both of them
We'll get to Lyra Valkyria.
Both of them were taking their lumps as rookies on WWE. I hope I see both of them. Well, we saw Lyra Valkyria on Monday. I'm looking forward to see how.
No worse for wear.
I'm looking to see how
Wasn't
Carmelo.
even selling it.
Like, damn, you just running after motherfuckers, huh? I don't know. That it was entertaining. I totally agree with you, though. I want to see how Carmelo comes out of this because that was just a sick bump. I mean, just brutal to watch. Next up, you had Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn.
Real quick before you move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say. Chad Gable was the MVP of this match, and apparently that was his first ladder match ever.
I was very loud about Chad Gable the other night. I was like, look how crisp this motherfucker is. I was like, everything this guy does looks good. I did not know that's his first ladder match. While that's impressive, it's not necessarily surprising because the guy seems like, he's a pretty capable dude. And he was awesome in this match.
I also do want to say I was picking up my kids from the pool, which is not a euphemism for anything. I was picking them up from the Portland Public pool, and I picked them up from Open Swim, ran into 7-Eleven to get Slurpees. It was 100 degrees, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, I'm gonna be late. They're probably gonna open with the men's match or the women's match. If they're gonna open with one of the Money in the Bank, so I'm gonna be late. I pull up to the house. It's 4:20, and I walk in.
Nice.
Totally fine. They haven't even fucking finished the entrances yet. There was so much non-wrestling on this match. I read probably, 80 pages of the book that I was reading, just in between matches. I'm not mad about it, but I was just like, dude, you got some shit to do. This was a hour and a half show and a 3.5 hour package.
I will say this, and just from our perspective, like I said, we got here around 7:30 or 8, so we got to fast forward through the minutia, so to speak, and it felt a lot quicker. That being said, 5 matches, and you said it on our text thread. that 5 matches, this is the way wrestling's supposed to be. Other people are like, it's too short or whatever. Look, as far as I'm concerned, this Money in the Bank only was 5 matches, but it got a lot of shit done.
Yeah. And they can also
there's a happy medium. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say they can also make it 5 matches because you're not spending $60 on it. It's Peacock.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not really a pay-per-view. It's a special event. That's why they stopped calling them pay-per-views. So if you're just tuning in, like, it's easier to tune into because I have Peacock. It costs me $6 a month. Like, that's completely worth it. Like, it makes it easier to tune into. It means that my wife and my buddy's girlfriend can sit around because it's not going to be too short and it's not going to be too long. So I love it. But as Zach said, I did do a lot of fast forwarding.
No, I agree with that. I'll just, like I said, from my perspective, I wouldn't have minded if we sat here and started it right on time and it went to like 10:30. That's okay. I mean, I'll wait for the final grade and then we can go from that point. Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, IC title. To me, coin flip match, and it played out as a coin flip match as this match went along. Not surprised by Sami Zayn retaining the title.
You guys seem pretty surprised by my Sami Zayn pick, though.
I was more like, I'm glad it was just, different than Zach and I. I'll speak for myself. It was different than Zach and I. At this point, it's not always chalk as of late. I would say the last, let's just say 10 predictions have been a little more creative, so to speak. So in that vein, you were going against us. So yeah,
WWE,
I'm good.
WWE pay-per-views have been harder to pick, much harder to pick than AEW pay-per-views lately.
Zach?
I don't know. I feel like they've both been fairly predictable, but there have been some things out of left field.
I wasn't here last week, but Jason had a perfect Forbidden Door, and you only missed one. There was fucking 30 matches on that thing. I was like, God damn, these guys are nailing everything.
No, I missed Naito. I picked Moxley.
Maybe I had the perfect one.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably sounds right.
The thing with your pick was it was not surprising in the sense of like what WWE would do. I just felt like maybe, with Hunter, maybe they turned a corner. Maybe they I get that with Monday, like they have some stuff going on. The segment Monday was awesome.
It fucking ruled. It was fucking great.
Holy shit. I'm so glad I didn't turn away because I was ironing my shirt or whatever for work the next morning. So as soon as I saw him come in the ring, I was like, okay, hang on, let me stop. And I sat down and I watched the segment. Shoe just flew off Sammy's foot. It was like, Jesus Christ.
I watched it like 3 times, and Breaker was he never sold that he was going to do it until he did it. And then it's like, holy shit. I mean, we just don't talk about that. I mean, we talk about that guy being fast, but he actually is fucking fast, man.
If you turned away, you missed it. Oh, just explosive.
I just feel like, and even Hunter said it in like the press conference, like Braun Breaker, fantastic talent. Like, he just got here. He's going to get there. And I'm like, dude, that's just like so old school. Like, I've never seen even in old school wrestling, like growing up and stuff. Like, you think Goldberg would have been more popular if they would have kept the fucking belt off of him? Fuck no. Like, sometimes you just put the belt on a guy and you just let him steamroll some motherfuckers, and it works out with their character. And I'm a huge Sami Zayn fan. Granted, I love the angle on Monday. It's still interesting. I'm very invested in a rematch at SummerSlam. Maybe it'll, be in front of a bigger audience or whatever. And they were in Canada.
Might include Dragunov, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then maybe protect Sammy for whatever reason. They're finally going to protect him after 10 fucking years. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
seems pretty booking 101. But, that seems like the right thing to do.
Obviously, we can just jump to Raw on this one. Really.
I think I was cutting off Zach there for a second. What were you going to say, Zach?
No, that's it. I was not surprised that he lost, even though I picked him to win because of the way WWE has traditionally done newcomers.
It was his main roster, pay-per-view match, and I thought that he had a really good match.
Yeah,
Sammy's an easy guy to have a good match with, but he was fucking awesome. He saved Sammy's fucking neck from getting broken one time too. Yeah. So
I had to go back and rewatch that shit. I was like, ooh,
yeah,
okay.
That was like that Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah,
like,
same. Yeah, basically the same spot. Braun Breaker's the truth. I have no problem with Sami Zayn going over. I have no problem if they're going to run it back at SummerSlam. I think that would be an even more a bigger. I think that's what they want to do. This is what they wanted to do it, where they wanted to do it.
If he's going to win
just now they got the excuse to do it.
Yeah, if he's going to win it at SummerSlam anyway, like there's nothing wrong with having Sammy go over clean and then getting back to a rematch somehow, which seems like what they're doing.
Without question.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win it at SummerSlam, I'll be pissed.
I'm not gonna be pissed, but I'll be a little surprised.
I'll be hot.
No, I'm not. I'm not that much of a Braun Breaker, Mark, just yet. I'm getting there. There's no question about it.
I can't wait to see like Raw on Netflix whenever they can cuss, and Braun Breaker's just like, listen here, you beautiful bitch, I'm about to fuck you up with the truth.
Okay. That January run, Netflix Raw or whatever it is.
I bought my Braun Breaker stock early.
You did.
Just proud to say that.
You did.
It makes up for the Brodus Clay call.
His name doesn't even seem dumb anymore.
No, I know it doesn't.
Not at all.
I fucking hated the name.
And I did. But I hated the name until that Spear Monday night.
I used to hate Gunther too.
The name. I don't even think about it anymore.
Nope.
I marked out on that Spear Monday night, man.
Yeah, you had to. I mean, it was just.
It's such a perfect character move too.
Yep.
It fits him well. Next up, you had for the. I shouldn't laugh because a lot of this is not funny, but it is funny. I'll be interested to see how you guys have the perspective on it. Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So obviously, let's just cut to the chase. The match turns as Seth Rollins hits an off-the-top rope Falcon Arrow, and then you have a couple move sets, and then counter move sets, and then you have Seth finishing the Falcon Arrow and Damian Priest not kicking out, the referee not counting the 3, and Drew McIntyre's music hits. So I'll just ask, we can just go around the table. Bill can start. What happened? What do you think was supposed to happen?
Well, I think that after seeing all the evidence and reading all the theories, I think that Damian Priest kind of got his bell rung. And he didn't kick out because he was dazed. He got concussed. And they don't really... now, listen, why the lights came up, I have no idea. That was really strange. Joey O'Farrell thinks that they were supposed to hit McIntyre's music during the pin. And they didn't hit
That's what I think.
And they didn't hit McIntyre's music. Go ahead, Zach.
No, that's what I think. I think that the music was supposed to interrupt the count, even though in kayfabe it shouldn't interrupt the count. But also in kayfabe, the referee should never stop counting if the guy's just fucking laying there.
Okay, stop. Okay, hang on. Stop right there. Should the referee have counted 3?
No.
It would have ruined so much. So I don't blame the referee for not doing it. It would have ruined so much.
Okay, you said the referee shouldn't have counted 3. Why not?
No, because it's a show. It's a television show. It's theater. It's not actually competition.
It is scripted. It was just a miscue.
Yeah.
So it broke the fourth wall for a minute, and it kind of put a damper on the match. It already was not a very good match to begin with. I'm not saying it was bad.
Yeah, it definitely took the piss out of the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're sitting there kind of like, oh, they fucked up. How'd they fuck up? And you're like, oh, they fucked up. And you're like watching them like, do they know they fucked up? And like the way that you're watching it just shifts for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And so like the kayfabe stuff doesn't hit as hard.
I agree with I think we all agree that Damian Priest was dinged. I agree with Tinder is that Drew's music was supposed to hit. And for whatever reason, Damian Priest obviously, for whatever reason, he was, obviously his bell was wrong, so he couldn't kick out. So there's the timing problem right there to itself. I can't blame the referee, but, I'm not mad for those who said he should have just counted 3 and just been like, the same thing with Gunther when he won the King of the Ring. They knew they made the mistake. They came back the next night out and was just like, hey, we're going to run it back. And just, you, if this is creative and you can make anything you want, I've heard you guys say this, that's your way out.
It's another one of those things that only happens in professional wrestling. Like,
True.
What an absolutely bizarre thing to try to explain to somebody. Like, and then having the conversation afterwards. Well, even though it was wrong, should the ref have just called it like it was real?
Right.
Like that's a it's just, Anyway.
Outside of injury or death, it is the worst thing that can happen in a wrestling match.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Outside of injury and death, yes. That's it.
I can't say I totally disagree. It did kind of, because obviously for like the next 5 or 10 minutes, everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? Drew's music hits. It doesn't feel like the way it should have if everything was on script, so to speak. So at that point, now you have a triple threat match. Obviously, CM Punk comes out, jumps Drew, interrupts that portion of the match. But then obviously he fucks Seth Rollins as well, which now brings in a whole nother conglomerate of problems when you just thought it was going to be CM Punk and Drew. Now you have Seth Rollins probably lurking in the shadows. I thought his Monday Night Raw promo against CM Punk was perfect. Actions have consequences, and I cannot wait to see somewhere down the line Seth Rollins is going to cost CM Punk something big, whether it's Drew McIntyre, the world title, something along those lines. But when he said actions has consequences, I was like, okay. Nope.
Man,
note that motherfucker. He's getting ready to flip heel on CM Punk. Watch.
It's just outstanding booking. It's just
layers to this shit.
Yeah, it's good when people like have multiple feuds going on at the same time, even if some of them are just simmering. That's what makes Hangman Swerve such an intriguing third match, But
I was just gonna say, like, it really reminds me of so I run Dungeons and Dragons, and when my characters are in the world, the world also moves on around them and without them. So based on their actions, might have consequences, or not acting. If they don't do something, there might be consequences. That's why I really loved the AEW Hangman stuff, because he was not going to join Blood and Guts, and then Swerve said he was in, and then he goes banging on their door and says that he's in. So it's the world exists and it moves on. It's not just a static place, and they both companies did really good with that this week.
Fucking A. What was next?
I guess for...
Oh, I will say real quick, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know we got to move on, but I did say that the worst thing that could happen is them not counting the 3. It might be tied with CM Punk pulling down your trunks and the entire crowd sees your bare butt, balls, and back.
Okay, that's 3A. Okay, I get it interchanged it depending on your perspective, who you are.
Specifically CM Punk stuff. Yeah.
Probably the low point for Money in the Bank when it comes to Bill Vagey. John Cena comes out.
Oh my God! You know what? I forgot about this. I completely forgot about it. I'm sitting here chomping at the bit to talk about the women's match. Fuck.
I should have said that instead. John Cena comes out to announce this will be his 2025 will be his final year of professional wrestling. Didn't necessarily say year at first. He kind of drug things out a little bit, went into Black Preacher mode, which I finally recognized for myself. I think that's one of the great things about sitting with your friends and watching this live is that you can actually, and not it can't be 10 people. It was like I said, it was 5 of us total, but the boys were talking amongst the boys. And once John Cena started to, get into the reasons of why he was getting ready to retire and all this other nonsense. He did go into black preacher mode. Talking about it. I don't even know what the fuck. He loves Canada. What the fuck does Canada have to do with you retiring? It made no fucking sense. He rambled for a little bit, but ultimately the high points.
Yo-Yo Farrell started to answer him like a black lady at church. He was like, yes. He's like, yes.
It was
like,
great.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You tell him.
Comedy Central. Obviously, the high points. Royal Rumble, last Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, last Elimination Chamber, last WrestleMania for John Cena. But ultimately, 2025 on the press conference is 30 to 40 dates for the 2025 year. So plenty of John Cena.
He said, I'm coming out here to announce my retirement.
Dude,
and then he's like, in 18 months after I wrestled 30 to 40 matches.
Yeah, no.
That's more than MJF has wrestled the last 3 fucking years.
I'm like, what? Okay.
I'm not even exaggerating. I think MJF has wrestled like 24 matches in like the last 3 years.
We know
anyway,
I know your reaction, obviously, because I saw
He
it.
says he's going to wrestle 30 or 40 more matches.
30 or
That's what
40
he said at the press
days
conference.
Oh my-
in 2025.
Get the fuck. Okay.
Okay, so obviously you don't. What was your initial reaction when you heard John Cena say he was going to retire?
I don't really give a shit. I missed most of his career, and he's not much to me. I know that he's a lot to the business, and this was actually national news. Like it was like national, like not like headlines, but like I saw news stories, like real news, like pop up, not like dirt sheets and stuff. So he means a lot to the business, means a lot to a lot of people. Doesn't mean a lot to me. I fully expect him though to either win one of those 2 things, the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. And I also expect him, since he has so many dates, to win one of those titles. So get ready, Bill.
Does John Cena break the record, Bill?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably.
Who do you want, Flair or Cena, to have that record if you're fucking WWE?
Who do I want?
No, if you're WWE, like, yeah.
Oh, Cena. Because Cena's all yours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of those titles that Flair has weren't even in WWE. Like, these are all in WWE. But, yeah, they want him to have the record.
Cena's like WWE's like virgin wife, like high school sweethearts that they married.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, let's just...
untouched, unsullied by any other promotion.
Like, Cena was the top guy.
dead.
Cena was the top guy. This is just, it's completely objective, but I just feel like I have to get this off my chest.
Please.
Cena was the top guy during an absolutely shit period of wrestling. WWE 2006 to 2011 or whatever. 2005 to 2011. That is a terrible era of professional wrestling. Cena sucks. We were right the entire time. I kind of started getting like this hipster fucking attitude, like, oh, Cena's actually kind of good. He's not. He sucks. He's a shit promo. He's a fine wrestler, I guess. He's a terrible actor, and it always seems like he has a little smirk on his face. I fucking hate him.
He's back.
Fucking hate him. God, I can't fucking stand him. I can't stand looking at him.
Oh, my God, dude. To watch him.
He's going to be so fucking annoying, man.
Three Beard, to watch.
The John Cena burial tour.
To watch Bill react when we were fast forwarded after the Braun Breaker,
there was
Sami
a
Zayn match.
commercial.
So he fast forwarded. As soon as he's hit play, John Cena's running to the ring. He's like, "Oh man, fuck!" To watch the meltdown.
It's like waking up from a bad dream.
Here's $20. Can we rewind this whole thing? I mean, yes, I'd like to see Bill melt down again. It was absolutely beautiful. I couldn't have paid for it any more than that. Just watching it live, it was a beautiful fucking thing. Myself personally, I'm not gonna lie, I did freak out because I'm like, It's John Cena. John Cena just doesn't retire. And then the more he started to talk, I'm like, damn, this is retire. We gonna end this shit quick. Now, after the press conference, I agree with everybody. Somewhere down the line, he is going to win number 17. Yes, I'm going to be pissed off because that breaks Ric Flair's record.
You know what,
I will be pissed.
I just thought of this, but I think that he saw how fucking hot WrestleMania was with The Rock. And he's like, he came to Hunter, and he's like, I want. And now he's drafting off it. He's trying to draft off it. He saw that wrestling's cool again. All he wants to do is be The Rock. He is a fucking.
That's what The Rock did too.
I know.
The Rock came in after it was already hot. They're both doing it for sure.
He's a Dollar Tree fucking Rock, though, man. He is nothing compared to The Rock. But he's probably like, I want to have like an edgy, shoot style feud. The thing is, he's not going to be able to pull it off because he can't fucking act. That's what I think's happening here. He got jealous.
3 Beer, you agree?
I can see that. Those guys don't get to where they are without huge egos.
Yes.
Okay, that's what's up. Now we can spew on the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
I'll fucking spew on it. That's fucking one of the worst matches I've ever enjoyed.
Okay, explain yourself. What do you mean?
Oh my God, they just botched moves for 10 minutes straight, got a "This is awesome" chant, and then did a bunch of really fun shit that ended up making it the end on a high note to where I actually really enjoyed the match, but it was basically a Botchamania highlight reel for a while.
Botchamanias are cool sometimes.
It was cool this time. It worked, but I was just I couldn't believe that in the building, that was the most forgiving crowd I've ever seen. They just wanted everybody to be happy, including the women who were probably mortified that they just kept fucking themselves up. I mean, they just kept hitting their heads on ladders
Zoe
like
Stark
they were
was
in
willing to,
they were like they were in Home Alone 6.
Home Alone 6, Money in the Bank.
Oh no, I am dead. That's gonna be there. You go. I was about to say, note to self, Home Alone 6.
And if I told you there was a
Bank.
Home Alone 6 and that's what it was called, you'd be like, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
that's amazingly funny. No, Zoe Stark was the one that was just the one I remember where she tried to do a flip or a moonsault, something off the middle rope and hit the back of her head on the ladder. I was like, oh, jeez.
That's the only thing she hit. The only thing she hit was her head on the fucking ladder.
I'm like, okay.
I love this match.
I did too.
I had so much fun watching.
I would
this
be
match.
glad if I said otherwise.
There was a moment when Lyra Valkyria climbed up the ladder and was like, oh, wait, I was supposed to do a drop kick to the outside. Climbed back down the ladder, did the drop kick through the ropes to somebody who was holding ladder, maybe Chelsea Green, and then started climbing back up the ladder again. It was terrible, but I also loved it.
Oh, shit.
I gotta rewatch this thing, man. I do not remember any of that.
No, Zach is right. Do not get me wrong. As the highs were, the lows were pretty low too. I do remember that.
You know why I love this match? Because these people didn't give a fuck.
Okay,
they were out there. They were out there to do the damn thing.
God bless them.
And I appreciate it.
Okay, Chelsea Green.
I didn't even pay $60 for the pay-per-view. They're doing it for a fucking subscription.
No shit. Chelsea Green with
most people aren't even paying for Peacock.
Yeah, right.
I'll say I'll take that stolen subscription. Thank you. Not stolen, borrowed, whatever. You get the point. I thought Chelsea Green was amazing in this match. I'm glad that even though Tiffany Stratton won, Chelsea Green got over in this match so much that now that I see you are going to have women's mid-card titles, WWE. Go ahead.
Have you seen that match that Chelsea Green had against Penta in Lucha Underground?
I have not. I'm sure that my Lord and Wrestling Savior High Five Tom
I recommend it. It is fucking wild.
For those who are...
Have you seen that, Two Beer?
I've only seen clips of it, but I have not watched the actual match. I never got to that point. I watched like maybe 2 seasons of Lucha Underground.
It's fun.
For those who
Chelsea Green's good, and she's going places.
For those who do like Lucha Underground, I know, like I said, my Lord and Wrestling Savior, High Five Tom, is doing a Lucha Underground podcast. The first couple episodes just came out. You can go check it out on Visional Global Media. Just hit the search bar, find it, subscribe, like it, all that good shit. Io Sky dropping Zoe Stark on her head obviously made me come out of the fucking seat.
Man,
Chelsea,
Zoe Stark sold that like the
That's
Rock.
very vice
oh
versa,
my God.
right?
Yeah, she sold like she got shot.
She sold it like the Rock. It was perfect.
It was perfect.
It was like she sold it so well. I was like immediately like, oh, she's fine.
Bounce right back up. You know, God bless her. Chelsea Green, I thought, like I said, when she hit the table, she hit it perfect. You know, hand on the back of the head. It was textbook perfect. Chelsea Green is going to win one of these mid-card titles, I guess, ultimately is where I'm going with this. The rest of these girls, God bless them. Like Zach said, this is where you miss Natty. I'll say it. You know, Naomi is cool. But this is where you miss Natty because somehow, some way, this got off track real early, real quick.
I'm sure after Naomi took that Alabama slam onto the ladder, she was probably seeing double like her husband at the DUI checkpoint.
Stop!
He's heating up.
What was next? Oh, Tiffany Stratton goes over. Tiffany Stratton's the right person to win it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did we all have Stratton?
We all had Stratton. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. Zach, you ain't shit. Oh, my God. Main event time. Bloodline in this case. Jacob Fatu representing the Bloodline along with Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa versus KO, Randy, and the Universal Heavyweight Champion Cody Rhodes. Bloodline goes over.
Bachaloa on the outside.
This
He had
motherfucker.
one fucking spot and he fucked it up.
He had another one. There was another thing he fucked up. It wasn't a spot, but we're like, oh my God, he really fucked that up.
No, the low blow spot.
The low blow was terrible.
Oh yeah, he hit his butt. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? God damn.
I said he hit his butt like Jason and I were playing softball, and Jason just grounded out to the shortstop, and he's coming back into the dugout.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey man, pick your head up.
Yeah, right? You can, don't worry about it. I'm like, dude, this is why they fought to get fucking Jacob Fatu over the border. I don't care if he got 8 felonies or not. We getting him into this match because that's why, God bless Tongaloa, he's just going to be the heater for the Bloodline until you get somebody else in. And even when you do, he's still going to be the heater. He's going to be taking some pins. He's going to be eating some boots, the whole 9 yards.
He's a heater that blows out room temp air.
Ultimately, I thought this did what it was supposed to do. Solo pins Cody Rhodes, so you're probably going to get Solo and Cody at SummerSlam for the title. This was fine. I mean, it was not a pay-per-view main event.
It was fun. If Cody's in the match, it's going on last. I mean, that's
no question about that. But for me, it wasn't like, you know, oh shit, you know, this is a great match. It was entertaining enough to where there was enough going on where I didn't feel like my time was being wasted. Also
with a necessary ending. Zach, what you think?
Yeah, felt like a SmackDown main event. Not necessarily a bad thing. I thought they did Jacob Fatu really well. I think they did Solo Sikoa not so well. I don't know. He took like 6 crossroads. He really only pinned Cody with like a ton of help from like Jacob. Jacob was the only one that really seemed to stay strong, like in the match. Or look strong in the match, and he's not the one going for the title like Solo is. And you already have the problem of like people not thinking Cody's going to lose the title. So I think they should make Solo look a lot stronger and feel like more of a credible threat, because he could come off as more of a credible threat even without the cheating. Basically, what I'm saying is that he might have won the competition even if he didn't do the cheating.
I think that with Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa is a cool wrestler. And then when you put him in the same match with Jacob Fatu and even Tama Tonga, he looks pretty plodding, and he looks like he's just not as exciting of a performer as those other two guys are.
Yeah, that's
interesting take. I can't. I'm not saying I disagree with it. It's really three different styles. When you're talking about the bloodline minus Mr. Warm Temperature Heater over in the corner. I'm not giving up on Solo. I think this is kind of like not a Trick Williams jump, but it feels Solo didn't say a lot for a long, long time, and I think that was maybe his sweet spot. This is where you probably need somebody to speak for the group, so Solo can go back to being quiet, head of the table type shit.
But he's a perfectly fine challenger for Cody's title, though.
Totally.
I'm not saying
they built him up enough. Like this seems credible.
Yeah, I'm not saying that this is from right field by any stretch of the imagination. I'm okay with it. I'm willing to see how it plays out.
He killed John Cena.
Okay, so he always has that.
Forever.
He'll always have that shit. Let's jump on over to Raw real quick. You had it open it up with another CM Punk opens the show, basically getting ready to run down Drew until Seth Rollins comes out. This is where we're talking about actions that have consequences. I'm very into this shit. I can't wait to see where this goes. Jey Uso defeats Chad Gable. The Wyatt Six distracts Chad Gable, comes out with another VSH tape or whatever the case may be. We'll talk about that here in a second. My handwriting's so small. Sheamus and Bronson Reed is backstage.
I love when Sheamus, fucking what's-her-face comes out and gives the VHS tape, and then they cut back to Sheamus, and he's like, ooh, that was weird.
Sheamus and Bronson Reed talk some shit. They were going to have a match, but Bronson Reed decides to throw the curveball. He brings out he wants a match with Pete Dunne. He defeats Pete Dunne. Sheamus comes out to save Pete Dunne after Bronson Reed gets ready to beat Pete Dunne down some more. Sheamus goes over to hug Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne doesn't want any of that shit. What do you think about the Pete Dunne Sheamus
Love it. So
shun?
Tyler Bates on the shelf, right? So
yes.
Pete Dunne's back to have they're going to give him a singles run, and they're giving them something to do. And it's compelling. It's like neither one of them flipped on each other. He was just like, hey, get off me. It's the start of a story. So, listen.
Get off me. You called me Butch for 2 years, and I said my name was Pete.
Shit.
So, give him something to do. He's awesome.
No,
and him versus Sheamus?
Yeah. I actually was
if they give Sheamus you think they could give Sheamus a SummerSlam match? Sheamus, Pete Dunne at the beginning? I'd be all right with that.
I would be totally down with that.
Is this one 2 nights? Are they doing 2 nights?
No, this is the last of the one night shows.
Gotcha.
I don't see you getting on there on a one-night show, but I could see you getting on there 2 nights. I don't know. Maybe you can get on there with a one-night show.
Maybe. Damian Priest and Seth Rollins meet backstage. Seth Rollins says that he's willing to stand up to his word and keep to his agreement. Damian Priest tells him he doesn't even have to worry about that. As soon as he beats Gunther, he's going after. Seth Rollins can come get some if he wants some.
Hey, you know that stipulation that we built 3 weeks of television off of? Don't worry about it.
Doesn't matter. I fucking hated this for that reason. Like, you can just say, whatever. Basically, you're telling me that there are no rules.
Yeah. There has to be. They need colors within which they can draw.
Okay.
Yeah. What are Damian Priest and Seth Rollins shirt brothers? No. There's rules.
We talked about Sammy losing his shoe to Braun Breaker. Finn Balor, I want to call him Judgment Day, but Carlito ain't Judgment Day yet. JD McDonough, he's funny, but he ain't Judgment Day yet.
What kind of initiation system is this? Just put him in there.
Yeah, they made JD jump the hoops, so Carlito's got to do the same thing. Carlito, Finn, and JD McDonough versus Awesome Truth and Braun Strowman. The heels go over here in a silly little 6-man tag. Adam Pearce backstage with CM Punk tells CM Punk to stay home so he can deal with Drew McIntyre next week. I just
Definitely want to see Drew next week.
yes, you stole my thunder. Liv back.
Keeping him off TV for a week is just smart.
Yeah, it just, it makes me want to see what he's going to say next week. Liv is stretching out Dom in the back. This is the funny part about Carlito. He's taking the role of JD McDonough. Now J McDonough is semi, serious or whatever. Carlito's the little brother in this whole thing. Now we can talk about.
This is the only time I've liked Carlito since he's been back.
Agreed.
Like, when he made the dick joke, he was fully on. I was on Team Carlito at that point.
Oh shit!
Carlito's just Cena and brown face, right?
Stop!
I made this meme that I tried to make it go viral so many times. It's so good. It's a picture of John Cena and the picture of Fred Rosser when he was Darren Young.
Mm-mm.
And in between them is a plus sign, and then below it is an equal sign, and it's a picture of Carlito.
Stop. You ain't shit. God damn, you ain't shit.
I couldn't believe it didn't go viral. It's like, this is they all three of them look exactly the same.
I could actually kind of see, the.
I'm gonna find it and send it to you guys right now. Go ahead, keep talking.
The Wyatt segment is next. Different from the others, where now I feel like they're starting to introduce other people into the Wyatt Six itself. At least you saw flashes of the other Wyatts. From there, I'm going to be interested to see. It's a slow burn, but it's a burn that's starting to make sense. It was about Bo Dallas / Uncle Howdy to start. Now we're introducing, the other members who felt like they've been shunned from, I'm assuming, WWE, however they're going to write it. Obviously, Bo Dallas is talking about someone, referring to someone in this promo you had on Monday night. I'll start with you, Zach. What did you think of the promo, and who do you think Bo Dallas / Uncle Howdy is talking about?
It was fine. To be honest, I was just kind of like, when I was watching this was just a few hours ago, I was like, oh, this is kind of just more of the same. I didn't really tune into it. I picked up the whole aspect of, I picked up the people who were shunned or made fun of, or, that kind of a thing, and basically saying he had a group of misfits. But I kind of tuned out after that. I was doing other stuff. Had my computer open in front of me, and so I don't know who he's talking about specifically. I will say that this eventually needs something more.
Yeah, I mean, take Zach's comments right there, copy them, and just paste them into my comments. It's like, I didn't realize that there was one guy they were talking about. I was like, I'm going to sound like a broken record on this, so I'll just send it back to you. But, everything on the videos I'm cool with. It's all the other shit that I'm really not cool with. All the spooky magic stuff that's in the ring and stuff, I'm just not cool with it. But I think these videos are dope.
Like Chad Gable feels like he's the target of the Wyatt promo or vignettes or whatever the case may be. So obviously they're talking about someone, and it's probably not Chad Gable. But you did see
somebody that they're going after.
I would have. It's got to start somewhere, right? Somebody's got to take.
They're going after Jason Jordan.
Did you see this motherfucker here? Did you see Chad Gable talking to the Creeds and Ivy Nile backstage when they had Sonya?
No, I didn't. No, but I mean, let's hit the gas on that.
They're doing it.
How do you think they keep the guacamole green and savory? Doesn't it oxidate?
You ain't shit. Ilya versus Braun ends in a disqualification where Braun uses a chair to take out Ilya. This is where Sami Zayn comes down to try to help Ilya. That doesn't work out. Braun ends up taking them both out. Are we getting the triple threat at SummerSlam, or are we just going to go a rematch versus Sami and Braun?
I think that we get a triple threat somehow. Maybe I'm just saying that because that's what I'm trying to manifest it. But I hope that's where we're going, because that could be a lot of fun. And you know me, I love a triple threat.
Zach?
I'd be down with a triple threat. That sounds like a really fun match. It would also add a little bit of intrigue to it because if they do just do a straight rematch, I think everybody would just assume the Braun's going to win this one. So with a triple threat, it adds some intrigue.
He got pinned so
clean. Kind of fun too. Go ahead.
He got pinned so clean Saturday that it's kind of like I expected them to move on. I was like, well, he challenged and now he's gone. So I was happy to see him come back out. But he lost real clean.
Oh yeah, like a motherfucker. But he said that was his opening statement or whatever. Yeah. You know, I know how this works.
I don't deserve a shot.
Right. But this is how I'm gonna get another shot. I was like, damn, he shot him for real, dog. Just shot him out of a cannon.
It's a real loophole in the in wrestling is that you just come out and attack a guy.
Well, then you don't let somebody look. Like my mom always used to tell me, somebody hits you, you hit them back. That's it. There you go. So Sammy's just gonna hit back. You throw Dragon off in the mix. If you want to take the title off of Sammy, this is how you do it.
That match could be fucking
sick. Awesome. Damage Control backstage, whatever. Damian Priest backstage talking Gunther shit. Final Testament talking Xavier Woods bullshit. Damage Control defeats.
Xavier Woods bullshit.
Look, it is what it is. Damage Control defeats Lyra Valkyria, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, but then you have Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and the Sonya Deville attack the Damage Control team. Interesting turn of events. Didn't see this one coming, but I'm curious to see at least where it goes. You got a mid-card of women to deal with, 2 mid-card titles, and 2 tag team, or at least a tag team championship.
Bullshit. Absolute Xavier Woods bullshit.
Let's just jump to the main event because that's where it's all about.
Sorry, I also want to talk about that Sonya Deville's finisher. It's called the Deville's Advocate, which is, I gotta say, terrible. That's a terrible name. That's a terrible name for a move.
It could use a good work.
The Deville's Advocate.
Outside of Bill's AKAs, I generally hate puns. Especially like, dude, there's a dispensary by my house called Herb Stomp. It is a dispensary based on a pun about a move that murders people, or Seth Rollins' finishing move. I don't know which one, but it's bad.
There was a pet store in South City that was called Positively Fantastic. And I was so mad. It was right by my house, and I was so mad every time I drove by it. I was like, that fucking sucks.
Who said that? Who was the creative group that was like, oh, that's great?
It was this lady's small little local pet store. It's not there anymore.
Shocker.
She was nice. I shopped there.
Look at you talking shit and buy a shopping there. You ain't shit, motherfucker.
Shopping local.
Okay, fair.
I also mailed her anthrax one time. For the name.
What the fuck, man? You ain't dude. What the fuck? Main event. I'm trying going. I am. Dom and Liv versus Selena Vega and Rey Mysterio. Dom pins Rey. First time Dom defeats Rey, obviously with some fuckery from Liv on the outside. As Dom gets caught hugging Liv, Mommy comes back, Rhea Ripley returns, and as Liv Morgan runs off, she stares down Dom, and unfortunately, this is where I wish we had a little extra time on the clock, because that was basically what I've been waiting for quite some time, and you had it cut off a little prematurely, unfortunately, but obviously, Rhea Ripley's back looking fairly healthy. I would assume that would be a SummerSlam match. We don't want to have to talk about the match if you don't want to, Bill. You could talk about the angle in the back end.
Well, I mean, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, man, that cut off at a really weird point. And the other thing that I didn't like about it, and I haven't heard anybody else say this, first of all, I popped.
Oh, yeah.
They were getting ready to have the Rated R Sex show, Lita and Edge style, right there. And I was watching it live, but I had not seen all the hints the rest of Raw. I guess Damian Priest was kind of dropping hints.
He was.
I did not see any of that. So when her music hit, I started laughing. I was like, oh, yeah, here we go.
That's your ass,
Man,
Mr. Postman.
I wanted, instead of coming out there and arguing with Dom, I wanted Rhea Ripley to hit him. I wanted her to do her finisher on him. Like, she shouldn't be out there arguing with Dom. I want to see her beat him up. Come on. She's mommy.
That's afterwards.
Okay. But that was...
Dom isn't completely gone to the dark side yet.
What you think, Zach?
I think they're holding off on that. I think that will be the payoff, but they're not going to give it to us. They're going to edge it out. But yeah, it is funny. I love pro wrestling because they're on live TV every single week, and all over the internet. And supposedly Dom has not spoken to Rhea this entire time, and he doesn't expect Rhea to know anything that's been going on live television.
Why are you mad?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. It made complete sense to me that they hadn't talked.
Exactly. It's just pro wrestling.
What you mad for, girl?
Fuck, man. Kind of brings me down a little bit.
So I'd say, damn it, Zach, look what you doing. No, obviously that covers Raw. Well, we could talk about NXT on the odds and ends. Obviously, Heatwave was Sunday night with a couple of really good matches, but WWE.
Heatwave, I thought was a better show than Money in the Bank.
Well, how about this? Let's make it our 2 count.
Uh-oh.
1, 2, 3.
Damn.
2 beer. What's a 2 count?
All right, we can make it the 2 count. Let me pull up Heatwave.
Oh, sorry.
Because,
I just thought that was a good segue.
No, it is. Shit.
that's a good
I
segue.
felt professional as shit right
No,
there.
look, motherfucker.
I guess it would have made more sense if it would have been my count.
that's what I was going to
'cause
say.
Then I would have been ready to do it.
That's what I was going to say. Why don't you
Okay,
take
let's
that?
erase it, and we'll do it
Do it.
here. Let's just start it from here right now.
Okay.
All right, now let's do it for our 2 count. I erased that last part,
Not a problem, man.
so nobody can hear it.
It's like it never happened.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
Certainly, NXT Heatwave.
They'll never know, guys.
Right?
So we can talk some AEW. Be quick about a couple of these because there wasn't much substance to the first 2 shows of the week coming off a hot pay-per-view. But we did have the main event of Rampage was the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament semifinal, which was Mariah May versus Hikaru Shida, which I thought was pretty good. The story being that Toni wanted Mariah to win because not necessarily just because she wanted to support Mariah, but because she did not want Shida to win because she saw Shida as a credible threat to her title. Of course, Mariah May won. Really probably the only reason to watch Rampage, though, if you didn't. And it was the day after a holiday, so I think most people probably didn't. Collision was Saturday night, and opened up with MJF. The footnotes or the bookends of the show were pretty good. The middle was mostly filler, but MJF had a pretty good promo. I mean, he always does, but this was, pretty good MJF promo. Basically, talking about his big turn on Daniel Garcia. Talked about how not just Daniel Garcia, but he really tore into the fans because, of course, this is a heel turn, not on Daniel Garcia, but it's on everybody. Basically doing the thing of, like, that he opened up to us, tore his heart out, and basically the fans turned their back because as soon as he gave his all to the company and he lost his title to Samoa Joe, they were chanting, "Thank you, Joe, while he was laid up and his shoulder separated and all that kind of shit. So he was pissed about that and called Ospreay a talentless hack who was only there for star ratings from Meltzer. And then he had Ospreay's music play, even though Ospreay was not even there, which is classic MJF shit. But pretty good promo. And we can kind of curtail discussion because it really goes into Wednesday opening of Dynamite, which was a much more full and newsworthy show. But we did have in here the only thing in the middle I think really worth talking about is Christian Cage and the Patriarchy were out, and Christian Cage cut a promo on Jay White, basically saying, I didn't even know you were the Trios champion.
Man.
And he said, he said, you surrounded yourself with Juice Robinson. He's a child. Then the Guns, like Colton has a little promise that he sounds like JCB. He's like, but that's a story for another day. And he does say a line in there where basically said he was telling them the fans were tired of him treading water. They want to see the switchblade they thought they were going to get when they signed in AEW. And then randomly, like, Kip Sabian's there, and he's like, get out of my light. What are you doing? And Kip's like, I'm sorry. I just lost my father. And Chris is like, yeah, the apple doesn't fall from the tree. I'm sure your father was a loser, too.
God damn, dude. Come on. Jesus. I mean, the dude is down. Christian putting a boot on his neck. God damn.
That is really fucking funny, dude.
He ain't shit, man. I swear to God.
Yeah. So, they beat the shit out of Kip Sabian. So, I imagine these guys are going to get those trios belts. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
It's I love the Bang Bang Gang. I love the name, obviously. Huge Jay White fan. Disappointed
I love
in how
Christian.
he's been. Yeah, without question. I'm just disappointed in how Jay's been booked since he's arrived in AEW. When Christian pulled that Google line out, and he had to Google who the AEW Trios champs were. I was just like, damn, that's sad, but yet it felt also true on the same. So yeah, at this point, I'm ready to shake things up. The patriarchy feels like a group that could actually do something with it. It'll be entertaining to watch.
I also feel like they're ready to do something with Jay White.
I wish you.
Yeah, he's getting there.
I wish I could believe that, but I don't know.
I mean, he just went far in the tournament to crown a number one contender, and he lost in like the semifinals or whatever.
Continental Classic, same thing. I mean, I get it, but it's like how you tease your dog. You know what I'm saying? You want your dog to sit.
I don't tease my dog.
Yeah. you get. I'm sorry. Poor analogy. You want your dog to sit. Yeah. Man, stop. No, man.
What a callback.
Yeah, right. That's fucking
that was like
crazy.
4 months ago.
Yeah, right. For the record, I love dogs. Okay, I would never be a dog, but it's ultimately you're teasing me with, I think we're going to do something with Jay White. Well, why? I mean, then just do it. It's not like there isn't 5 or 6 titles that Jay White couldn't be going after. You don't want him to go after the world title. Figure it out.
Only so many belts. No, I'm joking. There's a lot of belts.
Yeah, yeah, you just got to take only off that. There's so many belts.
Yes. I did not watch this live until I did look at a recap thing just to see if I was like, do I want to watch this? And I saw a match on here where I was like, what year is it? Jack Perry versus Marco Stunt. That was a blast from the past. But Jack, this is a squash.
Yeah.
Marco got a payday.
It was fun.
When Jack Perry is towering over somebody, I'm just like, this is just
Who
not
do you think
right.
is taller, Marco Stunt or Carmelo Hayes?
Okay, so you ain't shit. Okay, stop. I ain't gonna have that. No more. We ain't gonna have no more. I'm just gonna change the words. No more. Carmelo Hayes blasphemous talk the rest of this podcast. Fuck that. It ain't even about being black. You ain't just gonna be talking about that motherfucker like that.
Those two in the Bagel Boss, dude. If you don't know what the Bagel Boss man is, go ahead and type it up. Google it.
Shit.
Bagel Boss, dude. Watch the video.
Poor Carmelo Hayes just getting shrapnel, just minding his own business, trying to get this workout.
You guys ever seen that? I mean, I've watched it literally 1,000 times.
Yeah, I'm not even going to justify you right now.
You're not God, and you're not my father, and you're not my boss. I love that, dude. I love that, dude.
Go, Zach, go.
So Rio beat Lady Frost in a match that she broke her arm in. So Rio's out for a while. The main event of this show was really, really good. Is the aforementioned semifinal with Adam Page and Jay White. There was some like fuckery with, they brought Jeff Jarrett into it because there was a ref bump and Adam Page is going to cheat, and so Jarrett, got involved and turned into a referee for a little while. Or no, that was not. Sorry,
that was Wednesday. That was Wednesday. Yeah,
I was getting that was Wednesday. So that kind of set up him turning into a referee on Wednesday. But outside of the fuckery, this match was awesome. It was better than I feel like their New Japan matches from memory. So I thought this was a really fun main event. But overall, this was a missable show outside of the bookends. They started the show with something that was, big main event angle. They ended with a big main event match that led to Wembley. We're getting to Wembley, though. Wembley is shaping up to be an excellent show, as we will talk about with Dynamite. But overall, I don't know. What did you guys think?
The match was really good. I hate to say it because, I don't want to be this way, but it was completely hindered by the fact that there was no doubt as to who was going to win. But I love the match.
Just made me mad for Jay White. This is a classic case where, for whatever reason, Jay White's not challenging.
Do you like Jay White better than Adam Page?
Actually, to tell you the truth, it's kudos both ways.
Who do you like better?
Jay White, if you're going to make me choose.
Who do you like better, Zach?
That's tough. I feel like we've actually asked this before, and I had a very hard time answering. I think if I say like personal preference, not as far as like people, but just like as wrestlers, I think it's going to be Jay White, but I think that Adam Page has more star potential. I think he's more of a top guy.
Yeah, I don't agree with that last part, but I do agree with Jay White. He's just cooler. He's a cooler character. I think in ring they're pretty different in ring, but
their styles mesh really well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But Adam Page is
example this match.
Adam Page is probably better in ring.
Yeah, he's had way more outstanding matches. Like, Jay White's had some good matches, but he's had really good matches against some really good guys, and so has Page. But, like, Page has been in some of the most outstanding wrestling matches I've ever seen. And Jay White's just been in some really amazing wrestling matches.
Yep. All right, cool. What happened on Dynamite?
Dynamite opened up with Will Ospreay. Did a nice long promo. Dude can talk. We knew that, but like he's got a lot of charisma, and this is a really long promo, responding to all the stuff that MJF had said on Saturday. That's why I was kind of putting off the discussion until here. Whenever MJF had opened up to people, one of the things he said was that he had ADD, and Will Ospreay, he's come out and said that he has ADHD, he's got autism, and he's like, that didn't stop me. From doing anything, and he's like, I don't use it as a crutch, but that did remind me of one of the best wrestling tweets I've ever seen, which was David Finlay replying to some stupid shit that what was his goddamn name? Flip Gordon sent some shit on Twitter one time, and David Finlay just responded and said, "You're the dumbest fucking person I know, and I know Ospreay." It's just fucking brutal.
God damn. Shots fired. Jesus.
I know. But obviously Ospreay said him a savant. But yeah, and this whole thing, MJF came in and did a video promo. But I think this is a big match that we're having next week on AEW Dynamite episode 250, which looks awesome. So
this was a great babyface promo by Will Ospreay. If it seemed like preternatural how much he was over right when he came to AEW, but like he's not out of his league in this type of wrestling, cutting promos like that, being the top draw in a major company. This babyface promo was perfect. He called MJF out for burying AEW, which I fucking really liked, because that's what I always say about MJF. It was really good, and MJF's, his heel shit was fine. It was really over the top, but it was fine.
But I think that's MJF's heel shit is just really over the top. He wants people to try to come out of the crowd and attack his ass.
The line about stars and I'm going to make you see him. It's like that's a little wordy, bro.
That's fine. I'd say I get where you're going with it. He made his point. Fair enough. I will say that.
Needs an editor.
Yeah. MJF, like I need one too. MJF and Drew kind of sound familiar. Even they make points, even though they might be warped in their way of thinking. Drew makes a lot more sense. MJF, his major point about, the fans chanting "Thank you, Joe" was the one telling point to me where I was like, okay, I can see why in kayfabe style you would have MJF pissed off in the motherfucker watching this shit unfold. Fair enough. From that point, classic MJF, running down whomever the case may be. I think this is going to be. It's going to be interesting how they book this match for next week, because this feels like Sammy and Braun, where you're going to have this match and you're going to want this match again at Wembley. How you book the 250 match will determine what the match is at Wembley. I assume they would run it back.
I think it makes a ton of sense to have MJF go over.
I was thinking that too. But I guess Will having back-to-back losses is okay. I mean, it's not going to kill him by any stretch of imagination, but I'll be interested to see it.
MJF's going to cheat.
That's the wild card. Don Callis letting, quote-unquote, Will Ospreay go is not going to come without consequences. Now, where that comes up, I don't know. Is that nigga still alive? I mean, damn. We need to put an APB out on his ass. Fuck a milk carton.
Yeah, I feel like they will probably. It makes sense I expect MJF to win on Wednesday. I expect Ospreay to get it back at Wembley, and at that point, I expect MJF to cheat. I don't expect him to go over clean. He's back on his heel bullshit, and not that Ospreay shouldn't go over clean like in Wembley, but like you could have Wardlow fuck MJF out of this and then go back to Wardlow and MJF. I mean, although last time Wardlow just destroyed MJF. So
I tell you what, that seems below MJF at this point.
It really does.
I mean,
I think that's why they never did it. After they had Wardlow squash him, they never went back to it because he's just always been on the bigger things.
Right.
There was a point where you could have done it. Wardlow was chasing MJF.
Well, yeah, after Wardlow killed MJF, they should have pushed him to the moon.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point, him going down to Samoa Joe fairly quickly, just me as far as I'm concerned, that's the death nail of Wardlow in AEW as we know him. I'll talk about Samoa Joe down the line, but Wardlow would be it would make sense, but it would feel like a kind of meh moment versus, how it should be. It should be a big moment. It should be like a pop moment.
Yep.
It'll probably be a thing where MJF goes over Wardlow on his way to Adam Cole, although that made more sense whenever MJF was babyface. I feel like maybe they'll have Cole come back as a babyface because everybody wants to cheer returning wrestlers anyway.
Stop. No, I'm done. They fucked it up. Just stop. Okay.
You can't not go back to that. They have to go back.
They have fucked this up so bad at this point. How can we go back to it?
I mean, Zach's right that they should.
But I mean, like, the injury fucked it up. But like,
Yeah, I don't think they fucked up Cole and MJF.
Okay. So why have MJF? Okay, I guess then that's just a whole nother rabbit hole.
Ball of wax.
I just don't. It makes really weird sense that now MJF. That was essentially him low blowing Adam Cole as the kickoff of a heel turn. I mean, that's the slowest burning heel turn of all time, I guess, if that's the case. Fair enough.
I feel like it's a big money match that they're gonna go back to. It's built in. Okay. And then next we had the Owen Hart Foundation tournament final, which was Bryan Danielson and Adam Page in a fucking killer match.
Forgot this match was going to happen.
I did too.
Yeah, this show was really pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it was. It fucking ruled. There was like no filler in it except for the Acclaim video.
Stop.
But I mean,
I had to laugh when they came. I was like, nice.
This match was 25 minutes long, though. This match fucking ruled, and there was intrigue as to who would win. Mm-hmm. Like you could have seen it go either way.
I had no idea.
I did.
Yeah, I had no idea who was going to win.
Yeah. So this was pay-per-view level easily.
Oh, as much as I was giving Jay White or giving him his flowers on the collision match, I'm going to give Adam Page his flowers for this Dynamite match. I forget how good he is sometimes, and
it's because he's such a fucking turd.
Look, I'm just personal shit aside. I tried to
Swerve called him a turd. He's a turd.
I found that motherfucker, by the way. I sent that to you.
I saw that.
Okay. Ultimately, I like heels better. I like this version of Adam Page better. This story at least makes sense of why he's, at least joining, quote unquote, joining the elite for blood and guts. You've opened the door, and now I like this Adam Page. Plus, he's good in the ring. So now I'm ready to be like, okay, what's next for Adam Page? So in this scenario, I'll give TK credit. The return of Adam Page has been good so far.
Why do you think that Bryan Danielson has to do it every match where he acts like he's legit hurt? Like, why is he doing that? It's almost kind of weird to me.
Because it is weird to me. He overdoes it, because if he didn't do it in every match, it would then be more believable.
I think that's how he gets us. I think that, to me, that's how he gets me. I'm like, is he working me? And now I'm starting to get invested in already more invested, I guess, better choice of words in the match. Bryan Danielson can tell the story. So in that scenario, I don't mind it. I mean, he's going to have a few more, months of this anyway. So I'm going to enjoy this ride while we got it going.
Yeah, Swerve came out to confront him. He cut a promo on him, basically saying that, he was on his downslide and that he is the, most dangerous thing in AEW. And then he's going to enter into the blood and guts on Team AEW, which then led to, of course, Adam Page banging on the Young Bucks' door and saying that he was in for the match. So we did put him in there. Like you said, I think we're all in agreement that worked out really cool.
And we're getting Okada Swerve next week too.
Yeah. So
and Okada Swerve.
Does Swerve go over Bryan?
I actually think we might get I think it's like a thing where we really might get Bryan Danielson in that title lineage.
Yeah,
it's tough. I can see either way, but I can really see the reason they're putting Bryan. It is one of the biggest matches they can make, but I feel like Ospreay is a bigger match as far as Wembley, but Danielson's probably the biggest match they could do otherwise. I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning Danielson.
I'm leaning Danielson too.
I really would hate that for Swerve. I really would. I just feel like I wish I could see Tony doing it because he's done it before. See Saraya, so it would not be a surprise at all. And I'll just say that and leave it at that. I'm not going to put the rest of it out there. I'll leave it in my head.
I don't know. There's worse things to do than to lose to arguably the greatest wrestler in the world in front of like the greatest like stadium in the world.
And he's never held the belt.
I don't know. I wouldn't feel bad for Swerve at all.
No, trust me. It would get him over even if he didn't win the match itself. Okay,
him and John Cena are going to be champions at the same time. I mean, really, you think about it.
That's great. I have to say that would be some shit if that actually happened. I would love to see the guy if they were still, dating the Bella twins. That would be amazing too. Be a fly on that wall. It'd be a pay-per-view style type shit. Go ahead, 3 Beer.
Oh no, I just said oh wow. I forgot about the whole Bella twins thing, but it would be an interesting main event. I could also see Swerve winning and Danielson not wanting, like, Sting didn't want the title and they put him on it anyway. Maybe this will be the opposite thing. And Danielson kind of goes out, putting Swerve over. I could see really either. Danielson's one of the most selfless dudes. That's why he hasn't had the belt yet. I'm sure Tony wanted to put it on him 5 times now.
He loses all the time.
Yeah. He did the same shit in WWE. But we had Street Fight, Jericho and Samoa Joe. This was mostly to write off Joe. He's going to go shoot the second season of Twisted Metal, which reminds me that I should probably watch that. It seems like it's like a 6-day watch, like something where like you get your wisdom teeth filled, you eat like 6 Vicodin, and you watch Twisted Metal. But I'm all out of wisdom teeth and all out of Vikings, so that's why I haven't watched it yet.
I'm a bitch.
But this was ridiculous. Like, my favorite spot in the match was Jericho came out wearing a cowboy hat to Calgary, and Samoa Joe did like a Three Stooges thing where he held the hat up and he punched him through it. It's fucking ridiculous.
I did laugh. I'd be lying if I said otherwise.
I mean, I gotta say this. I am sick of Jericho burying young guys.
I'd say that.
We lost him again.
That's funny shit.
All right, what was next?
Oh
shit!
No,
it's Zach's count.
No, I hadn't even talked about the shit yet.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't know honestly that Joe was going away. So as over the top as the finish was with the failed choke slam onto the forklift, I guess, and then they drove the forklift to the wall. I was just like, okay, so what the fuck? I mean, I was just confused on, is this the end? And obviously it will be until Hook comes back. I didn't know Joe was going to be away for a while, but I kind of knew that, as the numbers were kind of against him anyway. You hadn't seen Shibata at all, on Saturday and on Wednesday. I was thinking at least he's going to get jumped somewhere. I didn't know he was going to get put out of, quote unquote, put out of action for a while. So, credit to the learning tree, but whatever. This match was what it was.
Yeah, it was fine. Tony Schiavone tried to put it over by saying we had 2 former AEW world champions going at it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's like a really good sales pitch, but I still wasn't super into it.
Yeah.
Then there was a match that I was super into, which was a 4-way. This is like a total slobber knocker, as JR would call it, but it was Claudio Castagnoli, Kyle Fletcher, Pac, and Tomohiro Ishii, and the winner would receive a shot at the AEW International Champion, whoever that is, after Wednesday. So this was super fucking fun all over the place. Claudio Castagnoli threw Pac in the air so fucking high to give him the European uppercut. It was insane. Ishii was bumping on his head. Just classic, insane. Lots of different styles here, but somehow they all meshed really well. Super fun match that Pac ended up going over. He put Kyle Fletcher in the Rings of Saturn, or whatever they call it. I always call it the Rings of Saturn.
This was an incredible episode of Dynamite, but this is why you tune into Dynamite, even when you might have limited time to watch as much wrestling as you want to. But Dynamite's must see, because this type of shit. This fucking ruled. Ishii and Kyle Fletcher in the same ring together. That's fucking fun to me. The the right guy went over too, if you ask me. So I was totally cool with it.
Truth be told, I watched AEW ass backwards this week, so I watched Dynamite, Collision, Rampage in that order. So seeing this match,
unprofessional bullshit.
Seeing this match didn't really make sense at the start, but I agree with you. The right person went over. Hopefully this is a Wembley match. I'm assuming it's a Wembley match where Pac gets his Wembley moment that he's so desperate to have. But no, if Takeshita wasn't going to the G1, Takeshita should have been in this match. That's the only negative I have about this, and that's totally irrelevant from everything that was.
Can't be too negative about that.
No. This was a party match, and they got it on. It was fun, entertaining. Right person went over. I'm kind of waiting for Cardio to get his next moment. Truth be told, I see him out there. We know he's the shit.
Yep.
But now it feels like, okay, I'm kind of like, now what? Is Moxley coming back? I'm assuming he is, but in that time, can we not build up Cardio too? I don't know. Good match. It's, my thoughts.
It does make sense that it would be a Wembley match because he mentioned it was nobody's going to take my Wembley moment. That also means that they wouldn't do Ospreay, MJF, unless neither one of them had the belt, if they redid that at Wembley. So, Pac winning the international title from either of those guys, though, would be a pretty fun moment. I just wonder what it would be. Anyway, we'll just have to wait and see. And then we had Mercedes Moné comes out. She's got her double championship. She's doing her little dance. She's doing the best promo that she's done since she's been here, and that's because she's a heel, and she's a much better heel than she is a babyface. And basically says to Britt Baker, you're not going to face me at All In, because if you did, I'd leave you with way more than herniated discs and a stroke. I'd leave you for dead, bitch. And
talking about her
gotta
stroke. Come on.
Yeah,
I know.
say, damn. I'm like, whoa. We went there.
She's way better as a heel, and I know that because I fucking hate her. Like,
damn, dog.
I mean, it's not go away heat. I just really hate her character. Like, I want to see her character get beat. That's how I know she's a good heel.
Fair. That's completely fair.
It's not shoot heat. I have kayfabe heat with her.
No, this is the Mercedes /
like
Sasha.
Fuck her.
Yeah, this is the Mercedes / Sasha I've been waiting to see for a while. I'm not sure if she does have creative control over her character or whatever the case may be. If she does, I'll be real curious to see how this Joker is booked for Wembley, because it feels like this is Britt Baker's, chance to be triumphant, but you can see Britt Baker putting Mercedes over. I will be curious to see how that booking unfolds. I'm interested in the match. The build has been good so far. I thought last week was better than this week, but it still did enough to where I'm intrigued. The next step, I need to see a little physicality in some form or fashion where somebody gets, hit, somebody else gets hit, and the next thing you know, we're fighting. That's the next step to start to really, reel me in on this motherfucker. But so far, so good.
Yeah, this feels like a very big match. I said it last week. This feels like the biggest match you could make in women's wrestling right now. And it's definitely perfect for Wembley.
Do you agree with that? Shit. Say the match again, Zach. I'm sorry.
That Britt and Mercedes is the biggest match that you can make in women's wrestling right now. It just feels huge.
No. Maybe.
I just couldn't think of one. I'm not saying it is. I can't think
Toni Storm, Sasha Banks.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know. Britt just still feels like Toni's great. Her character work's been great. She's had a really good run, but Britt just still feels bigger. I guess it still feels like her division, even though she's been gone for like a fucking year.
I wouldn't argue it either way.
Anyway, cool. Britt came out, and like you said, no touching here, but ran her off. And Yeah, Darby Allin's also
Nice
back.
security
He's
that
beating up Brandon
the Bucks
Cutler.
hired, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe don't hire 18-year-old indie guys, but maybe hire some real security. I know it's nice to give those guys a payday and some TV time, but Jesus Christ.
It was all the guys living above Nick Wayne's garage.
You ain't shit, dog. That's great.
My mom lets him stay there.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, Brandon Cutler was getting beat up by Darby Allin, who is back and basically coming after Jack Perry. So, Dynamite 250, he says. And that, that sounds pretty cool, too.
I would have been just fine with Darby for his own health taking off another 3 months. It's like, dude, you can rest for a little while. I mean, I love having him back.
Safe.
The show is better with Darby. But
better with MJF as heel.
Yeah. But, that guy.
It's probably safer that he's on TV wrestling. Otherwise, he'd be doing some fucking ridiculous bullshit.
I mean, that's probably true.
He ain't lying.
He is fucking wild, man.
Like, you could any day see, like, a headline like Darby Allin dies, and you're like, oh, yeah, that sounds great.
I mean, that spot through the glass is as crazy of a spot as you're ever going to see.
Yeah,
and that's not, like, in some gym somewhere.
Yeah.
Agreed, totally. That's some backyard bullshit.
It really is.
I love Darby, but goddamn, man, you need to slow down for a little bit.
Then we had Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament Final. Will Nightingale and Mariah May. Both of them come out in Owen Hart inspired gear. It's so funny. Like, Mariah comes out, she's climbing the steps, and like in my head, I was like, damn. And then Nigel is on commentary. He was such a fucking horn dog for Mariah. He just like stops what he's saying, and he's like, damn. I forgot to mention last week, whenever we were talking about the pay-per-view, when they did the three-way kiss, and how Nigel sold it by standing up, clapping, and crying like it was like an acceptance speech, but for like a lifetime achievement award or something. It's fucking amazing.
Nigel McGuinness, that is the man. He needs to be on everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything.
Biggest match in women's wrestling would be Mariah May just staring into the mirror and talking to herself.
Stop, niggas.
Just saying reassuring things.
This was wild. The match was pretty good, but then there was some outside interference. What's his name? Stokely Hathaway came out. He's wearing like a Sting hoodie, and he's like distracting Willow, and then Chris Statlander's there. There's like, Tony's distracting the referee. There's all kinds of shit going on.
Okay, that's the part I didn't understand. Why is Tony distracting the referee too? I mean,
yeah. So this is the thing where people are like, AEW doesn't have any stories. No, AEW has too many fucking stories, and they cram them in a lot of times. Like, it's not simple. Stuff isn't really allowed to breathe. There's too much happening at any given moment. They have too many stories. Just fucking cool it on the stories. Cool it on the angles. Not every match needs, like, two angles happening in the match. Regardless, it was not about the match here. It was about the ending, which was legitimately one of the best endings to a Dynamite in its 249 episode history, where Mariah takes the belt, bashes Tony over the head with it, bashes Luther, gives him a nut shot, throws him. He does a flip bump off the ramp through some tables. Tony gigs. She's already got the whitest face like in the crowd. She's just got so much like powder on, and then the blood coming down on top of it was just like such a stark contrast. And it looks brutal. Like, you don't normally see like women bleed in wrestling nearly as much as the men. I feel like viewers, consumers, they're not as into it. We're still a little conservative in that aspect. They're treated differently. But this was a fantastic visual. She's got blood streaming down her face. Mariah May kisses her on the head, rubs her face in the blood, and the last thing we see is her, like, she looks like a fucking murder victim. She's holding her hair and blood streaming down her face with blood covering hers. This was amazing angle to the show.
Did you finish?
While I was describing it or while I was watching it? Because, yes.
While you were describing it.
Yeah, both.
I'm fucking dead.
I loved it also. This fucking ruled. Mariah May's a big-time star. It's time to make Toni a babyface. Perfect way to do it. Did I say Mariah May is a big-time star? She's a big-time star. I loved it.
No, they played it right.
This is like the perfect time to do it, too.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Gave it the main event angle, big time.
Yeah, it as much as I give Toni, grief, this was so well done. I agree with Zach about everything post Toni getting attacked. Gunther doing the flip off the stage, obviously a little over the top, but it gets his point across. The contrast, like you said, that was the first thing I thought was that this is the picture at the end of Mariah holding Toni by the hair and Toni bleeding through the face. That's a T-shirt right there. If that's not happening, then AEW should owe me some money because that's a fucking T-shirt ready to happen. That's how impactful I thought this was. That made me was like, okay, now you have babyface Toni Storm, which she was kind of turning babyface anyway. You flip Mariah heel in a beautiful way. It happened a little faster than I thought, but it still was the right time. It was perfect. Yep. Well done across the board.
Badass.
I don't buy wrestling T-shirts. If you put that shirt like in black and white, like put the picture in black and white, I would fucking buy that in a heartbeat.
Actually, you should have, once again, AEW, you owe me some money. You have Mariah May in color holding Toni Storm in black and white with the blood down her face.
Oh,
money.
My God. That's a really good idea.
Money.
People will be like, is that an AFI album cover?
They know it's My Chemical Romance.
Right. That's going to do it. Anything else about AEW? Am I missing anything?
No. Actually, I want to say one thing really quick. You were talking about two stories at once. I'm going to push back on it a little bit. We had Seth, Drew, and Punk in WWE. Two stories at one. That feels a little more.
I think what Zach was saying, though, is that WWE is doing something and then letting it breathe. Like when you watch Dynamite, there's like an angle every match. It's like you can just have
it's simple. It's easy to understand Seth, Drew, and Punk because it's slower, it's more methodical, and it all makes just more sense. Like we just said, like why the fuck. We know that there's history with Willow and Chris and like them, but like, why the fuck is she out? Why are they out there? Like, what is the point? Like, we don't know. Like, maybe it'll pop up on YouTube or maybe like they'll tell us, but like they'll have a match. But like it doesn't. Well, there's no method to the madness.
Yeah, they make up for it on Collision also, where nothing happens, where fucking Jack Jameson is getting fucking 5 minutes of promo time every week.
I ain't thought about Charles laughing my ass off like this motherfucker coming out here talking that tall shit, boy. Jack Jameson ain't no joke.
Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so we're gonna do Heatwave and NXT at the same time, just because. But I'm going off of memory here. By the way, how were the predictions this week?
Oh shit! I guess keep talking. I'll count to them.
So I want to start at the main event because I want to talk about Trick Williams versus Javon Evans versus Ethan Page versus Shawn Spears. Ethan Page pins. Who did he pin? Javon Evans? Or did he pin Spears? No,
he's
pinned
Javon
down on
Evans.
top of him.
Right. Trick gives the trick shot to both of them. Ethan Page lands on top of Javon Evans, gets the 3 count. A very sports entertaining but fun way to finish a match. Apparently, this is a callback to a 2007 Backlash match that was. Fuck. I should have researched this. It was like Cena, Michaels, Edge, and somebody else. But anyway, this is how that one ended. I was totally cool with Ethan Page going over. I picked him the wrong time. I picked him last pay-per-view. Should have picked him this pay-per-view. But, Zach, what do you think about Ethan Page winning the NXT Championship?
Yeah, it was a surprise. It makes sense that he'd do it. Like, Trick's obviously kept strong. Like, he didn't lose the title at all. They had a nice story where, like, he was kind of distracted. Even though him and Javon Evans are like kind of, friends, like he was distracted by him the whole time. And man, he shoved him off the top rope, like through that announce table. It was a crazy bump.
That's a crazy bump.
It was nuts. John Evans was the funnest guy to watch in this whole thing. He's a super talent. But yeah, it was cool. Like, it had some intrigue. Like, I already kind of thought, like, you know, I talked about it, like, Trick is top guy material, but he's like really not top guy ready yet. And him chasing Paige and Paige is a veteran. So, like, it's cool.
Paige is a fun guy to have hold that belt as a heel.
The way it ended up happening only just adds the fact that it in the heel mentality, it doesn't matter. And Ethan Page even intimated to it to where, you know, thanks for the trick shot. Otherwise, I wouldn't be champion right now. And then Shawn Spears came out on Tuesday night or whatever, and they basically had the setup for the tag match. We'll talk about that in a second. Javon Evans, he's the truth, no question about it. As long as he stays healthy, he'll be fine. Shawn Spears feels like the forgotten man in this whole thing, but I think ultimately this is about Trick. Maybe it was too fast, too soon. I think you said it. I was allowing the Trick to let him grow as champion, but Ethan Page as champion doesn't bother me a bit. I think he's a great fucking heel, great wrestler.
I think that Javon Evans is kind of tall, isn't he?
He's tall and lanky.
He's very tall.
It's like Kyle Fletcher before he started putting on this weight.
He's like fucking Brandon Ingram in college.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that.
It's like Lamar Odom.
I did put up tally up the numbers really quick.
Lamar Odom.
Money in the Bank, Bill and Zach both with 12. I had 11, and then everybody from Heatwave had 4 points.
Nice.
So,
that. But you're cool with Ethan Page going over?
Yeah. Trick didn't get pinned, so ultimately that protects Trick. Ethan Page is going to be a solid champion. Oral Menza attacked Ethan Page right away, so you have a ready-made opponent for Ethan Page off the jump. So yeah, it makes sense. I'm good with it.
Oba Femi goes over Wes Lee in the curtain jerker, about 17 minutes long. Oba Femi is the truth. I think that's like what they say. That's like his 15th match or something.
Sounds stupid.
That's a long match for a guy that's that green to be able to wrestle and have it be compelling. This was very compelling. It says a lot about Wes Lee too as an in-ring technician. What you think about this, Zach?
Oh yeah, you know, I feel like NXT is not NXT unless Wes Lee's really sad, and this was so ridiculous because it was Oba Femi was just a big giant heel just fucking beating the shit out of the babyface Wes Lee, and he does that for like 10 minutes. Like, Wes Lee gets no offense, and the crowd's like, "This is awesome."
Right? Like, dude, he's getting his ass beat. Stop. This ain't awesome. Okay.
It was good. But it was awesome. It was awesome. I loved it.
No. Don't get me wrong. The contrast in styles and size obviously made this a pretty good match to open up with. Oba Femi winning isn't a surprise. The surprise to me is like what Bill was saying, 17 minutes in like his 20th match, something ridiculous like that. It doesn't look like he's as green as he should be, if that makes sense. There was a couple of spots where, you know, he could have made mistakes and, you know, the strength helped him out, and, you know, he ends up pulling the shit off. So Oba Femi has the highest ceiling that I could see of anybody, and I'll include Trick Williams in that. I'll go that far. He's got the highest ceiling of anybody that's on NXT right now. He needs to be the champion, especially now that Trick's, you know, away from the championship. If you could, I don't know who's going to beat him for the North American title. I mean, I guess there's the first problem with that. But ultimately, he will be NXT champion. If it's not, it's a travesty.
Oba Femi will headline a WrestleMania.
No argument there. None.
Zach, did you get a chance to talk about it? I walked away for a second.
I did, yeah.
Tag team match. Axiom and Nathan Frazier go over Chase U. They really kind of laid some red meat out there for us to pick this the other way, and they snatched it right back. Nathan Frazier, and this is a fun match. I love watching Andre Chase wrestle in those like slacks. and I think it's really funny. And Axiom and Nathan Fraser are super fun to watch. So, and they had the crowd eating out of the fucking palm of their hands in this fucking match. The crowd really elevated this match. It was kind of special. What you think about it, Zach?
Yeah, it's my favorite match of the night, and probably like best outside of the DIY match, like best match of the weekend. It was really good. Really like Nathan Frazier. Really like Axiom. Really like those two guys. It's funny that you said that about his pants because I'm so glad that you said that because like I just been staring at his pants like the whole time.
You mean while we're talking?
Yeah, I got it pulled up on Google Image right now. It was great though.
Yeah.
I was surprised again too. You said it like they worked this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really cool. Up next we have Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice. Roxanne keeps her belt. What you think about the match, Jason?
Honestly, I was glad that it didn't end on a submission because it's kind of like one of my pet peeves about wrestling when the submission artist loses by submission or the person that's supposed to be proficient in submissions, gets caught up in a submission they shouldn't be getting caught up in. Obviously, the whole match turned when Lola hit her fist on the ring post and Roxanne started to work it with cross faces and the whatnot, but ultimately went back to her finisher for the win. This was, once again, this was a predictable match. I thought this was a good showing for Lola Vice, but slowly but surely they're building Roxanne to be that woman in NXT. She's got it. It's just, now we're starting to see a long title run for her, probably making up for, the missteps, injuries from the past. So no problem with it. Good on Lola Vice, but the right woman went over.
Yeah, Roxanne's great. She's a fantastic wrestler. And yeah, Lola Vice was really good here. I agree kind of with the submission, like Zack Sabre Jr. losing by submission is like The Undertaker losing by being bullied by the previous generation. So it just doesn't really work out. It's just like kind of your main finishing move. So.
And then what's the other match? Oh, and then we had Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruca. Okay, this match seems to be the topic of some conversation. I'll let Zach start. What you think about this match, Zach?
Like super fun. The crowd was into it. It was, not necessarily a traditional wrestling match where you it was like. It kind of reminds me of Ospreay Ricochet.
You stole my thunder, you son of a bitch. God, I hate you.
I mean, not as good, but like
right.
They were. But yeah, it reminded me of that because like the first few minutes of Ospreay, like they just don't touch, like they're doing the flips and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So I mean, I don't have any. I'm not a purist. I'm not a like whatever. If the crowd's into it, that's kind of my metric. It's like, at least with pro wrestling, like if you're working that crowd and they enjoy what you're putting on, that's the goal. So,
what do you think of it, Jason?
They did good.
I can see both sides of the coin. I agree with Zach. I was trying to think about a comp to this match, and that the Ospreay Ricochet literally came into my head as you said it out, said it on air. So I was like, yeah, damn, son of a bitch. I wanted to be the smartest person in the room for once. But so in that sense, if you like something like that, okay, fair enough. The flip side of it to me was it wasn't clean and crisp as Ospreay and Ricochet. There was definitely moments where you could see a hesitation, a misstep, whatever the case may be. So I can see both. I can see people being, liking it, not liking it, whatever the case may be. For me, my takeaway from it was Sol Ruca is as athletic as Kalani Jordan. So I would have been okay with Sol Ruca winning the title, Kalani Jordan having the title. That's fine too. To me, it's apples and oranges. But to answer your questions, I see both sides.
It reminded me of Ospreay and Ricochet, and I didn't really like that Ospreay. I need to be intellectually consistent here. I didn't really like that Ospreay Ricochet the first 2 minutes of that match either. I mean, it's a tumbling routine. The problem with Kalani Jordan is that she looks like a tumbler. Like, she has the smile of it. Like, she looks like she understands that she's out there to do a floor exercise, and everybody's there to enjoy it. That's what it kind of seems like to me, and that's why I really can't get into her. The match was fun, though. I mean, both of them are insanely talented. That's not. It's just not my favorite type of wrestling match.
Even though they might seem like the perfect opponent for each other, like, I feel like they're probably going to be better with other people, like, actually working wrestling matches and pulling out some of those moves occasionally within the confines of an actual wrestling match.
They should be a tag team called Stanford Cheerleading or something.
Stop.
I'd buy the calendar.
What grade did you guys like this event? Zach, you said you liked it more than Money in the Bank. Can you give it a grade?
Yeah. I would give this a B, or maybe even a B plus. Probably B.
And what would you give Money in the Bank?
Like C plus.
Jason?
Wow. Heatwave I thought was B. Money in the Bank, I said A minus when I came over. I'll stick to that.
Man, I think Heatwave is like a B plus, and I think that Money in the Bank was probably a B plus. I enjoyed them both. Watching it with buddies live is a lot more fun than watching it by yourself on an iPad the next day while you're folding laundry or doing dishes or some shit like that.
True story.
So that's probably, I mean, maybe I'm overrating Money in the Bank, but I had a bunch of fun. And Heatwave had that tag team match and the main event match were both really, really good. And on a 5-card match, or 5-match card, that's really all you can ask for. So
it was also like, I loved that it was like 2 hours and like 20 minutes or whatever. It was fucking, I love that.
I turned it on, about 2 hours and 20 minutes into it, and I was thinking, okay, well, cool, I'll be able to catch the main event. And that motherfucker was over. It says, your program has concluded. I was like, holy shit. Did it start an hour earlier than I thought? Anyway, fun week of wrestling.
Pro show.
1, 2, 3.
Any odds and ends?
Not really, no. G1's coming up.
Anybody show their ass on Twitter or anything?
Always, but Will Ospreay, I guess, was catching heat. Is what I saw this afternoon or this morning. I guess his promo on Dynamite, I guess, was caught a little heat. I guess he was talking about MJF and the bidding war of 2024 not going his way.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that he caught some sort of heat from it, whether it was backstage or otherwise, and he came out on Twitter and basically, apologized and said next time I'll do better or whatever.
What's wrong with saying that?
Maybe we're opening the door to information we ain't supposed to. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was fine. Honestly, I thought it it helped.
It was
the promo.
a good line.
Yeah, totally. I didn't even blink about the shit. I mean, I'm sure MJF got paid. Maybe he didn't back the Brinks truck up getting paid. But I mean, I don't know. I don't get it.
It didn't seem tacky to me. Like, I remember whenever like Seth Rollins big time Ospreay on Twitter and was like, "Well, let's compare bank accounts." And Seth apologized for that later. He's like, "I was out of line," but like that, I didn't come across that. Like Max's whole character is that he's super rich. Like, why should like? I don't know why anybody would get mad about that line. I don't know.
Maybe he's kind of a bitch.
Fucking stupid.
Maybe he's kind of a bitch.
He definitely seemed like a bitch the one time we met him.
Old Starcast. Before MJF was MJF.
Made a lot of friends that day. Hurricane Helms. You asked me where the bathroom was.
Right. About to say Simon Gotch talked to you guys for like 2 hours.
Yep. We should still post those interviews. I still have them.
Do you really?
Yeah, I still got them.
Earl Hebner asked me where did he ask? Were you with me, Jason? Like, Earl Hebner came up and he was holding the referee shirt in his hand. He wasn't wearing it. And he came up and he was like, "Hey, where's the, because we were right next to the door. So, like, we were the first table right next to the door. He asked me where something was. And I was like, I don't know, man. I wanted to be like, you're Earl Hebner, but he's in a very big hurry. And you're like,
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
away,
And he was like, no, I'm not. I'm Dave.
Son of a bitch. I hate this shit.
One time, me and my friend Ryandale Chuck, we used to watch wrestling together in college. Shout out to Ryandale Chuck. He's probably listening right now. I've probably told this story before, but we went to go meet Jericho at the mall, and we were wearing, we took white T-shirts and we drew Jericho Protection Service on them.
Stop.
And so he wanted a photo op with Jericho, and Jericho was signing, and next to him was Earl Hebner, and he was signing too. So we get up to Jericho. Didn't seem like he really liked us being dressed in JPS shirts, but he took the picture with us anyway. And we had such a good time, and we were so starstruck that we just completely walked by Earl Hebner. Like we didn't even say what. We didn't say what's up to him. Oh, we totally dissed him. And every time he'd show up, we'd be like, yeah, we dissed him. We dissed that dude.
We're not here for you, Earl. Dave,
so, hey, Earl,
whatever.
Earl, if you're listening, I regret nothing. Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week. Tyson Kidd is 44. Jeff Cobb is 42. The aforementioned Hurricane Helms is 50.
That's crazy.
Happy
talk.
birthday, buddy. Sami Zayn is 40. Brock Lesnar is 47. X-Pac is 52. The aforementioned Jeff Jarrett,
Wow.
57.
That's two.
Bubba Ray Dudley is 53. Charlie Caruso is 37. Heath Slater is 41. He's got kids. I wonder what he's doing. Jesse the Body Ventura is 73. The Boogeyman is 60. Lashley is 48. Are you noticing something about this list? Lashley is 48. Excalibur is 44. We're the exact same age. And Mojo Rawley is 38. Did you notice something about that list?
No.
You notice anything about that list, Zach?
No.
Not a single one of them is dead. That is a lot of fucking birthdays. That is the longest stretch we've ever had, and not a single one of them is dead. And almost all of them are active. Incredible list. Incredible birthday
He
list.
jinxed it.
Dude, stop.
So the Boogeyman's going to eat a bunch of bad worms tonight.
God, I hope not. Sorry, Boogeyman.
Right?
Oh, no, that'll just be Finn Balor.
Hey, everybody, we know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Tinder Mahal,
Check.
for Murray the Murray Man Murray, for
Check.
Lucha Chris, for Patriot
Check.
Pat, for Brett Jagger,
Check.
for Vice.
Check.
We will see you next week. For Zach Pullman,
Check.
for Jason Cornelius Bell,
Konnichiwa,
I
bitches.
am Bill Vagey.
Check.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Double check.
Free fucking Palestine.
Check.
Give your parents a call.
Triple
and
check.
Never, ever forget that you need to boo the heels.
Boo!
Shut up, bitches.